Before I joined IOG, I actually was working on some HYDRA applications myself, but then transitioned into it, working on partner chains first.
Let's talk about you first and
Yeah,
find out a
sure.
little bit about you and who you are and your past experiences, because I was looking over kind of some of the things that you've done in the past. And to be honest, man, like it's a pretty extensive history of things that you have done, right? So
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things where you can't really sum it up and still do it justice. But very briefly, I have a background in mathematics, pure mathematics and mathematical logic. That's what I did my master's in. And then I transitioned into computer science after that, so I actually have 2 bachelor's degrees. And then I realized that okay, I have well. You can either chase grants forever in academia, or you can transition into industry. So worked in data science for a while, doing some algorithm research and a lot of data visualization, some index work in the maritime sector, where we used radar technology and a bunch of different things. But then I actually transitioned full time into the Web3 ecosystem with Iagon, as they were transitioning, taking their solution from Ethereum and moving over to Cardano. So I helped them sort of in that period, redefining how the product worked and what the token utility was supposed to be. And I created the file distribution algorithm that they use. So that was a lot of fun, actually. They're based here in Norway as well. I'm based in Norway, so it was a really good fit. After that, I worked I took a little spin through Meld, working on their lending and borrowing protocol, which was also a very good learning opportunity. I learned so much about DeFi and sort of the inner workings of the sort of very nitty-gritty details about what actually happens during DeFi activity, from the time you sign a transaction to it's submitted, and via the mempools and all of this, and all of the sort of steps that go into these things, which ultimately kind of led me to where I am today, which is working for IOG. Before I joined IOG, I actually was working on some HYDRA applications myself, but then transitioned into it, working on partner chains first. My first job out of uni, working as a data scientist, like a couple of weeks in, and I was just like, "Yep, I'm going to apply this thing," and it was just an immediate application, and it was an industry problem that had been open since the 80s of how to process some data stuff. And there was I think the first paper on how to approach this problem was from 1993. And I was looking through all of the stuff, and it was just it was very clear that physicists had tried to solve this problem, and the way that they went about it was because they didn't know the math to do this properly. It was just such a bad solution. It would take forever to calculate. It was super sensitive to noise, and it was just like a bad solution. Whereas if you knew the appropriate maths, it was just like, okay, I'll just apply this thing, and it's going to be like the best. It's speeds it up, makes it much more robust, and it's just like a natural fit. So I even really pure math stuff, I've had a lot of applications for already. Same thing actually with in Iagon as well, like I was just mentioning with the file distribution algorithm stuff. Like math, it's really everywhere. It's the universal glue that keeps everything together. So if you learn math, then everything in life becomes easier.